So, like, I know that I see quite a few young people that are cutting themselves at the moment for different reasons, because it seems to be something that's happening in young people's culture at the moment. And we've actually at SKATTLE had conversations with a number of young people about this and all about different issues that are happening in their lives for different reasons, because they go through big changes. Young people, well, we all do. And we've come up with a whole lot of different ideas about what people would call these incidents that are happening to them, these events that are happening to them. So I'm curious about what you would call this, if you were to give this experience a name that you're going through at the moment, this loneliness, isolation, or not being able to speak to someone, or some of the embarrassment. If you were to give it a name, does something come to mind?
It probably would be the loneliness. I mean, embarrassment is part of that, but I think that's what, makes the loneliness bigger or something. Feeds into it or something.
Well, some of the other things that we've developed some cards that, based on these ideas of what young people might have named these experiences, and some of them have said that when things like this are happening to them, there's usually some anger around for them, or there might be some fear, or there might be sadness, worry, frustration, or confusion. And you've said the loneliness, so I might just write that down too and add it here. But I'm wondering if any of those resonate for you, that are similar things that other young people have said.
Probably a little bit of sadness and frustration. Sad, just whenever I'm feeling like I'm alone, I feel really upset by it, and sometimes I cry, and sometimes if I can't cry, that's when the cutting happens. And also some frustration, I think, like when Mum's not around, just, I know that she's dealing with her own stuff, so that's why I'm not angry at her, because I get that, but it's just frustrating when I need her time and I need to talk to her and she's not around as much.
Yeah. So frustration around her lack of availability. Is that right?
Yeah.
And some sadness, just in relation to the whole, event that's happening in your life all the whole time. And none of these resonate. Can I take those away?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I might take those away. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a story happening here, because I'm trying to get a sense of what this is like for you. So you've said the sadness, the frustration, and I've written the loneliness, but I'll just make that a little bit clearer. So the loneliness. So loneliness, sadness and frustration. When these things are happening in your life, some of the things that you do as a result of it are cutting. Yeah. What else happens? Like, what are some of the effects of the sadness, the frustration and the loneliness on you?
I think, I probably, although it probably doesn't help the loneliness part, but I tend to go by myself a bit. Like if I'm feeling upset when my friends are being a bit weird about it, or if I'm being frustrated at Mum, I can't deal with this. I just go somewhere away from everybody. But also because I feel like I'm more lonely when I'm around them as well.
Right.
So it's like, I'll isolate myself a little bit, I guess. But
so you step away because you're feeling isolated or lonely already with them, and so it's easier for you to do that when you're not with others. Is that right?
Yeah.
And when you are away from them, you said that you do some cutting.
Yeah.
So these are some things that other young people have said that happens to them, the effects of these particular experiences on them as well. And they've said sometimes that there's bullying around at school. They might do some hiding, which is probably a bit like what you're suggesting too. You've called it hiding. They called it hiding, but you've called it you're taking yourself away.
Yeah.
Asking for help. Clearly you've done that by going to Nicole and being open to coming here.
Yeah.
And it's talked about running away, yelling, and maybe even having trouble sleeping. These are just some, I guess, general ideas that we grouped lots of people together who have come up with some common ones, and these seem to be the most common. But do any of them resonate for you?
Yeah, well, like we said, the hiding and asking for help, but also trouble sleeping. I think, like, I feel better when I'm cutting, but then after I feel a bit gross. So, and because it's usually at night time, then yeah, I end up kind of staying up and not being able to get to sleep or anything.
Right. So what's happening for you? Because you said you feel better when you're doing it. Can I take these ones away? This running away, yelling, bullying. But we've kept hiding, asking for help, and having trouble sleeping. Sorry, are we keeping that one? Or not? Because I heard you saying that you do go through
it does happen, and I try. I try to ask for help. It doesn't always work, but it's something I try to do.
So you try and do that by asking, trying to speak to your mum, speaking to Nicole, and coming here. So we'll leave that one down there. But you spoke about when you actually cutting that it feels okay at the time.
Yeah.
Why? Can you tell me a bit about that?
I don't know. I guess it's like, when everything else feels really awful, it feels less awful. So it's almost like it's, it hurts. It's not going to feel good, but it's like, almost like a distraction point, I guess. Like I can focus on this pain that's on my wrist instead of the one that's inside, sort of thing.
Right. So it's a bit more tangible or explainable, or
yeah, I guess, and it's, I have a bit of I can decide how much it hurts. Like I can decide how big the cut is or how deep it is.
So you've got some choice in that, and you can make a decision about how you want it to be.
Definitely.
And so when you're going and hiding, you said before the word hiding here, you've used the word you said taking yourself away or stepping away. Yeah. And so you said that that's a bit better for you because at least you're not around lonely around people. You're actually lonely.
Yeah.
In your own environment.
Yeah.
You spoke about trouble sleeping, and that's because you were saying that once you've stayed up for a while after you've done it, and what is it that you're thinking about it, or is it sore, or what is it that's
probably a bit of both. Like I think I kind of it does wear me out a little bit, so I don't know if I'm actually really thinking about anything in particular afterwards. I kind of feel like I'm exhausted, but over-exhausted that I can't sleep in a way. Like I'm just like, okay, that's done. And like I feel bad. Like there's feelings of grossness and guilt and I suppose maybe even weakness. I don't know, but like it doesn't feel great. But there's not any real thoughts that are going through my mind at the time either.
So just the feelings of grossness and guilt and weakness are what's stopping you from being able to sleep.
Yeah.
And the asking for help, you said you do that. I guess I'm curious about how you're able to do that. How are you able to go and try and at least have a conversation with your mum and take the initiative to go and speak to Nicole and come here? Like, how are you able to ask for help? And what's going on for you when you're doing that?
I guess I know it's like, I mean, I don't particularly want these things to be happening, so, and I guess one of the good things about being on my own a bit is I know that I'm responsible for myself a bit, and, you know, if I need someone else to help me, I've got to be the one that asks for it, I guess, but, I mean, it doesn't always work, but I think I've got to keep trying anyway.
So there seems to be that sense of you when you take yourself away, and also when you're, you know, asking for help. That you seem to be someone who likes to take, you know, responsibility for what's happening in their life. Or would that be fair to say? Or?
Yeah, definitely.
So when you think about these 4 things that you've named here, the cutting, the taking yourself away, trouble sleeping and asking for help, you know, these are some of the effects that the sadness, the frustration and the loneliness are having on you. I'm wondering about whether, it sounds like you're saying some of these are okay and some aren't okay in some ways, like the cutting's okay when it's happening but it's not okay afterwards, and the taking yourself away seems to be okay because at least you're not lonely amongst a crowd of friends, and trouble sleeping doesn't seem to be okay for you because you've got some guilt and weakness and grossness around while you're having trouble sleeping, and the asking for help, seems to be you taking some initiative. So which of these are okay and which aren't?
Asking for help is definitely okay. I think I probably need to do more of that. These 2 are hard because I think hiding, like if I'm feeling bad in a situation, it's good to, you know, take myself away from it, but sometimes when I do, that's when the cutting happens, like when I'm finally actually by myself and I'm like, okay, I can do this thing that no one can judge me for because no one's around to judge me for it, so it's a sometimes, I think. It makes me feel better, but it's not something I want to be doing. I want to be able to just remove myself without feeling the need to then go and cut. So
you wouldn't be doing the cutting if you were with others?
Yeah. I don't really feel the need at all when I'm around other people. So even when I'm feeling a bit lonely, like I feel awful, but it's not something that comes into my mind until I'm actually by myself. So.
What about when you're lying there not sleeping? Like is that all yucky, or is there part of it that's okay? You're doing some reflecting, or what's going on for you when you're having trouble sleeping? Is it?
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, it's always good to sleep, and I love sleep, but I think it's. Yeah, it is probably good to kind of let those emotions out. Like I almost wish I could kind of have that moment without the cutting being the initial step to it, where I can just be like, okay, all these emotions just come out without, you know, having to hurt myself to do it in a way.
Oh, okay. So that the cutting is what enables the emotion to come out, and that's when you're lying there not sleeping because you're thinking about and processing the emotions.
Yeah.
And you can only do that really when you're on your own.
Yeah.
But you're trying to do that by asking for help. Like we're doing now, I guess, processing your emotions in a way that is not about cutting.
Yeah.
So what does that say about what's important to you? Because I'm hearing you, making some pretty clear statements about wanting to speak about your emotions, wanting to feel connected in a group and not feel isolated, wanting to be connected with people where you can share and process these emotions in ways that are helpful to you.
Yeah.
These are some prompts, but others have said things like, what's been important for them is making friends or being happy.
Yeah.
Liking who they are. Being proud of my family and myself, maybe. Standing up for yourself. Being responsible and being heard But there might be some others as well when you think about your story.
Yeah, I think a few of them kind of apply. Like, of course, I want to be happy. That tends to be absent when I'm feeling lonely. And yeah, making friends. I want to be able to make more friends without feeling ashamed of myself. But I think probably a big one, which isn't really on one of them, is being able to express myself.
Right.
And I think that's how, like I said, getting the emotions out by cutting. But obviously, that's not really the way I want to be doing it. But I don't feel like whenever I try and talk about it, that doesn't seem to work as well. So at this stage anyway, like the people I talk to, so I think I want to be able to express, like it's important to express myself, but I want to be able to do it in the right ways, I suppose, or with the right people.
So how would you know if that was happening?
What do you mean by that? Like,
well, if you were doing it, you said the right way. What does the right way and with the right people look like?
I guess probably like these trees hugging each other, but not necessarily words on it. But I guess being supported, and it doesn't have to feel good. Like it's about getting the emotions out, so I don't have to feel good 100% of the time. But just being able to say it without feeling even worse, like actually feeling supported, and like my friends, they don't even have to get it, but as long as they're not judging me for it, and they're trying to be helpful.
Right, and so you want to be able to get your feelings out in ways that don't have you feeling judged.
Yeah.
And being able to express yourself in a way that has your friends being able to understand you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it's expressing myself, but also being around supportive people is important.
Okay, so why don't we take these ones away then?
Yeah.
And this one, and maybe even that one. So this idea of making friends, being happy, and being able to express yourself. And so I can hear that you, also like you're actually taking some initiatives to be able to express yourself in ways that enable you to be heard. And you're obviously doing this here with me, and you're taking the initiatives to do it with your mum and Nicole. And I'm really curious about whether you've taken any initiatives to be able to do that with some of your friends, or if it has worked with some of your friends.
There is one friend that it sort of worked with. She I don't think she really got it, but she she gave me a hug anyway, and I think that made me feel better. I think it was a little bit overshadowed by my other friends, but perhaps surrounding myself with people like her more.
I'm really curious to hear about what you did to make that possible with that young, with your friend, and some of the skills and knowledge that you held on to be able to have, be heard by her and understood by her, and have her hugging you and responding in a way that you wanted. So do you think we could talk about that a bit more next time?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm curious about where this conversation has taken you.
I guess, putting some words around it has been good. I think I kind of knew that it was about expressing myself, but I never actually really said it, and I guess putting it in that way kind of gives me ideas about how I can achieve that in other ways, maybe. It doesn't have, that's not the way to do it necessarily. There's other options. It's not the cutting that's important to me, I think. I think I thought that before.
Yeah. So you sort of knew that in a way, but you're just trying to work out how you can express yourself in ways that doesn't harm you, or have you being sore, or keeping the grossness and the weakness. And what was the other one that you said?
Embarrassment.
Yeah, the embarrassment around. Yeah. Something that keeps some judgment away too, by the sounds of it. You wanting to be able to express yourself in ways that doesn't invite judgment. Invites understanding.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to stop here for now?
Yeah, sure.
Good. Okay. Thanks.